Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Granville.
My name's Jonty.
My name's Andy.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is take two. Hopefully it will go without a hitch. We'll go through it all again. Welcome to the Scoutcast. We're going to talk our game weeks. Varying fortunes this week. I think we've got a split. I think a couple of us did pretty well, not so well. Jonty's got hits galore, 12 points spent. He's going to talk more about that and how he's turning his team around. We've got Rough of the Smooth. We're going to look at the community teams and see how they're cracking on. And we've got lots of community questions. Gundogan, who's got 2 goals tonight, 2 goals at the weekend. We've got to talk about him. We've got to talk about Hazard and his renaissance and Chelsea in general. We're going to look at defenders because everyone's got Valencia problems, including me. So I need some help with that. And we're going to look at Heaton. We're going to pray at the altar of Tom Heaton, who has done exceptionally well and, well, not so well for Andy, who probably will never forgive him after the Ibra showdown at the weekend. So let's start with our game weeks. Let's go straight to Jonty, who spent 12 points and got 74 out of it, I think. Decent return.
I did. I got 86 in total. Take away 12, 74, which is great. That is a combined total. That's more than I got in the 3 previous game weeks. So that shows what a crazy month this has been for me.
So you getting a taste for these hits? Getting addicted yet?
I am actually, because when you're really low down in the rankings, 4 points just doesn't mean anything. Like I went up 400,000 and I'm still not in the top million. But we'll speak a bit later because other people have addressed their problems and done even better than me this week. But out went Punchin finally. Sorry, Punchin fans. Punchin's gone. Collins
Creator Supreme has left the building.
Non-playing Collins, Van Arnholt in the Championship side, Sunderland, Walcott. All of them got 1 point in total. In came Coutinho, Holibas, immediate returns there. Daniels looking ahead to the future there. Redmond as well, bit of planning ahead. They got me 17 in profit. Big ratings boost. Got a team I like. I can make 1 or 2 moves now instead of 10 that I have to make.
Okay, but if we'll see if the luck has changed, because if you remember, you were making a few bad decisions, but also the luck was just going.
Yeah.
So if your luck hasn't changed, then I think that Collins will come in for Winston Reid at the weekend and score a couple of goals from set pieces. We'll see if that happens. Then just rip it up and start.
It will. It possibly will. He will probably come in, but the thing is, James Collins coming in equals no clean sheet for West Ham. So this is great news for Stoke. People who've got Allen, for example. And Bill Boney, so yeah, Collins in, great news for them.
I mean, Stoke are going to be around now.
But yeah, no, it is possible. But do I want? Yeah, Collins could come in and he could play and he could score, but that's going to be his lot because Reid will be back in and then Collins will be a dead duck, and that's the problem I've had for the last few weeks. Is I've had no bench, I've had no options, I've had no leeway. I've had to firefight all the time, and now I don't have to really firefight. I can just make 1, maybe 2 moves.
And you feel better looking at your team, and that makes a lot of difference to your confidence.
Oh yeah, and that's realistically all you want, really. You want to be able to do that, and yeah, if I can just get, by game week 38, whatever rank I get, I'll always look back on this month and say that was one hell of a month.
Andy, your story, 57 points this week. It all comes down to Ibrahimovic, doesn't it? Did you put the armband on him? You did, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Not only did I put the armband on, I made a mistake, which I don't like doing. And when it came to goalkeepers, I went for the highest point ceiling. So because I didn't have a Arsenal attacker, I put Pickford in, hoping he'd get a clean sheet. And Heaton had an Ibrahimovic against him, so I swapped him around quite late. So obviously that was a nightmare. Ibra, if I captain Aguero, then I'm on to a good week, but I didn't. So yeah, it's not looking good. But my transfers were Walcott and. I can't remember who the other one was. Antonio to Chadley, which is a setup for the future, and Coutinho. So that kind of rewarded me. Team's looking okay. I won't captain Ibra again, but unlike Granville, I think I will have him next week.
We've got to talk about Walcott later on because I know you got rid. I haven't. We're going to talk about that. Giroud and Ramsey coming back and so on. So we'll throw that question in as well, Jonty, later on. We're coming to you, Granville. Bottom of the pile, 51. What's going on?
Oh God, it's the Ibrahimovic show. It's dreadful. I mean, I know how Andy feels, but I think I feel a little bit worse. What made it worse is that not only did he miss, he had 9 shots on target. Heaton made a load of saves, and a lot of people had Heaton, so it's a double whammy.
Including one which was just ridiculous kind of shape that he pulled in midair, which was unfeasible how he saved that. So
reminds me of the one that is it Dudek saved it for Liverpool in the Champions League final, where it just is it Dudek where it hit his forearm, and just about it was just never going to go in. So,
it was funny because when he got the injury, it was just after 60 minutes. I was like, go on, then, off you go. Go on, that'll do. I'll take that. Because I was just really convinced United would score in the end.
Yeah.
Because they always used to. But
yeah, they're piling up the points. So that was absolutely dreadful. And I've rage sold him. I can't be bothered with it anymore.
So when did you rage him? Straight away Saturday night?
No, I think I did it on Sunday. I did it before. I might have done it Saturday night. When did Costa go up? That's when I did it.
Sunday night, yeah.
Right, Costa's come in, is he? No brainer, really.
Yeah, I think I need Chelsea cover, and I still don't fancy Hazard, and it was an easy sell, really. I could have got Lukaku, but I've got Balassi, and I think Balassi is at least covering some of his points. Although Lukaku seems to be involved in absolutely every goal that Everton scored.
The consistency we just didn't expect. I was hoping for, but didn't really expect him to pull it off. But he's doing it. So. But
the other thing that really did me in this week was Walcott not playing, because it's all right if you had Sanchez, and Sanchez obviously pinched a load of Walcott points, but it didn't make any difference to you. It's a good injury to have, whereas for us who didn't have Sanchez, it just totally exposed us to. And playing Sunderland, and I thought it could have been a problem, but Walcott wasn't 100% out, and I didn't think it was a good idea switching out around my whole team to get another Arsenal player in.
No, I didn't see him playing it. I mean, I think they've saved him for Spurs, haven't they? Basically, they know that fixture's coming up, and just as Spurs are looking at trying to get Kane back, I think that Bellerin and Walcott will play at the weekend. So we're going to talk about Walcott later on because there's definitely lots of issues there. Jonty, my game week, just briefly, I did all right, but 91 points, and Sanchez captain made it basically. First time I've really got the captaincy choice right, I guess, this season, and it's done me a lot of good. Defoe scored, got extra points there. Lukaku, it's okay, but I haven't got a clue what I'm going to do now. And I think I've missed the boat with my transfers, but more on that later on. Rough of the smooth, Jonty. Let's get through these. Let's see who else.
Well, just before, there is a kind of a point on the agenda I need to put in just before the rough with the smooth. It's the humble pie section, because when we come on the Scoutcast and we get it right, we can give ourselves a big slap on the back. When we get it wrong, we've got to fess up. And Andrew McVitie, otherwise known as Voog de Pond on the site, he's an arch creator of members tables on the site, by the way. We had a bit of fun with him last week. He thought my idea of getting Chadley in was a bit odd. I thought his idea of getting Hazard, who previously had done very little away, was odd. Well, he proved me wrong. Hazard completely got loads of points. Chadley did nothing.
I thought you were on to a loser with that one, to be honest.
Well,
he won't do anything.
It was the specific fixture. I wasn't saying Hazard was bad, but I was saying that specific fixture. Hazard away against a really good Southampton defence. I would have had him. I just thought that was not.
No, we didn't have him in picks. I don't think we even considered him for picks.
It wasn't even considered. But fair play to him. He completely proved me wrong. That's fine. And I just wanted to mention about a guy called Nabs Kebab, who's on our site as well. A bit more humble.
Just because of his name?
Well, humble kebab, I think he needs to be eating. He was ridiculous. I suggested that captaining Joe Allen wasn't as ludicrous as it seemed. There's a poster on site called "Allen is my captain." Guess what? Allen was his captain, and he's going to be our first. And he is our first smooth. So I've segued nicely into rough with the smooth. So he proved Nabs kebab or humble kebab wrong there, and
wow,
which is great. So Captain Allen, so he had so our first smooth, because that's something he's going to remember. Everyone else has captained someone.
Hold on, we've got a guy here who actually had Wilfred Bonny up front.
Yeah, well, we'll come to him as well. Yeah, so this is great. So Stoke was a great source of smooth action going on in the week. Yeah, and Ruffio, he had Bonny for a while, was going to ditch, decided to keep hold of him.
He must have held on for him for weeks.
Yeah, just kept hold of him. And I do believe Apple Bonkers, one of our contributors, moderators, also kept Bonny and also did well from him.
That is staying power. That is
staying power. So this is great. Great news for Alan is my captain. Great news for those others with Bonny. A couple more I want to mention in this week before I come to the best one, which is Mesh, Walcott and Snodgrass out for Coutinho and Allen. Well, that's what a swing that is. Great. And Ash W, captain Walcott, but Aguero was his vice captain. As I like
the bench, captain.
Off the bench, which is a risk. I didn't think Walcott was going to
What's he doing?
I didn't think Walcott would play, but I did think there was a 1% chance he could have come on. So that took something. But this is my favourite gigging order. He's pretty much similar rank to me. One 1 point whatever million. He decided to wildcard, great wildcard. He captained Aguero, he brought in Alonso, Coutinho, Allen. These were the new faces. Out went Foster, Walcott, Snodgrass. He got 107 points. He went up, get this, 1.1 million places in the rankings. He's hovering around the top 500,000. 1.1 million ranking boost. That's incredible.
That's a decent wildcard. 107 points.
That's a pretty good smooth. But we got some time for some roughs?
Quickly, let's get through those.
Right, Ruth NZ sold Aguero to get in and captain Ibrahimovic.
It's not as mad as it sounds. I know somebody else who was looking to do just that.
And I mean, it didn't work out. But yeah, this is a few Ibrahimovic ones here. TM245 took a hit to bring in and captain Ibrahimovic. And bounce back ability emailed me. He had a story where he was the only one in his mini league, his friend's mini league, to captain Ibrahimovic. Plus, he didn't have Heaton, and most of them did. So it was just the worst, the pits. And return of Chamak, final one here. Took Bonnie out, kept Bonnie all that time, get rid of him for Diamonde, who I believe is banned.
Yeah, he's got a 3-match ban, so he was out first game.
So that's really bad.
I think you're all right with Bonnie because they haven't got Arnie or Shaqiri at West Ham, so I don't think he'll go mad there. But I don't know, when he arrived at Stoke, I was like, I fancy it. It was either him or Benteke I was eyeing up, and yeah, he hasn't done anything. But to hold on to him all that time, well played to those people who did just that. Let's talk to the community with the community questions. I think the first one's about Chelsea and Hazard. Your favourite subject, Jonty?
Well, yeah. So I've been proved wrong, so there we go. Mark Harborough says, stock up on Chelsea now or wait for the fixtures to shift in game week 15. Tom the Wise is Hazard back to his best. Too dangerous to overlook. And Jack the Cat, big hits are needed to bring Hazard in for many if they're going to. Is that worth it?
Okay, I'll start this off with Hazard because why it's so interesting. I'm looking at Sanchez out for Hazard quite seriously once Walcott is back, and I'm convinced that Walcott's got the cover. The thing is, with Hazard, we know penalties are important. He's the only top draw, only big hitting midfielder who's got penalties. If you look at it, Payet, Walcott, Coutinho, Firmino, De Bruyne. De Bruyne is second in line. Yeah. None of them take penalties apart from Hazard. And the way it's looking this season, 33 penalties so far compared to 19 last. We can reasonably expect Hazard to get 4 or 5. He's got one already, I believe. So that's in his locker too. If he starts getting 12 to 15 goals from open play, suddenly he's going to bridge the gap to Sanchez quite easily. So I'm really thinking about it because of the penalties. He's looking good. So I'll put that out there. Andy, your thoughts on Hazard?
Yeah, I really like him. I think since we switched to 3-4-3, he's almost playing as a second striker for the most part when they're in attack. And I actually did a Jonty and looked at some stats from the last 3.
Help us.
I know, I'll be really quick.
You've got some kind of vague table to roll out at this point?
No tables. But in the last 3 game weeks, obviously, where he's been doing well, but he's actually not had the easiest of fixtures. Leicester, United, Southampton, at least on paper, not the easiest. United is obviously a walkover. But his penalty area touches have gone up from 5 to 8.3. He's doubling the amount of shots, and he's also creating more chances. So this change to 3-4-3 is obviously really suiting him. And watching the game against Southampton, him and Costa were just as kind of far up as they were as each other. So, yeah, I've actually researching this. I've almost taught myself into trying and get him in this week. Yeah. But it's just the fixtures. They're not the best, but they're not the worst, to be honest.
Everton at home won't be easy. Koeman knows how to defend. Middlesbrough away, okay, but they kept 2 clean sheets now in a row. Tottenham and Man City, so it is testing for them. But he's looking different class. Jonty no longer needed because the stats man is here. What's your views on Hazard?
Well, looking at the fixtures, the ideal time is game week 15 because it's West Brom at home, Sunderland away, Palace away, Bournemouth at home.
It's for Christmas, basically. Hazard's for Christmas.
Hazard, get him for Christmas. And he's an absolutely wonderful Christmas present to buy your kids, and he's fantastic. But, yeah, I mean, we've seen he can do wonders against those teams. And, of course, his price is probably going to go up as well quite a lot. I mean, he could go up to 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. So that's a big difference. I'm similar with you, Mark. I've looked at my team. I think the only realistic way I could get Hazard in is to get rid of Sanchez. So that's what I would be looking at if I wanted.
But I think it is tempting because he's going to play every match, Hazard, and I think Sanchez is as well. But it's 1.8 difference.
It's a huge difference. Currently, I don't want to get rid of Aguero. I don't want to get rid of Lukaku, and I've tried moving it around and keeping Sanchez in there as well. And I don't like the look of my team suddenly. Suddenly I've got to get very cheap defenders. Suddenly I'm looking at Joe Allen maybe even as a third midfielder. You know, it's just getting stupid. So, but yeah, Statsman's, goal attempts 12 since they've moved to this new system there. I mean, you know, so that's Coutinho on a par with Coutinho, more than Walcott. You know, and way more than Sanchez. He's outperforming Sanchez. Chances created 7, Sanchez 2. This is from that period. Yeah, I mean it's tempting, but luckily for people like me, you know, his price is going to go up. I've got Sanchez. I think I'm going to wait.
And Sanchez is going up as well. Granville, did we trust him yet after last season? Because we saw this last year, and I had 3 attempts at getting him in. Didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
You had him a few weeks instead of Ozil, didn't you? I remember you falling into a trap too. So what do you reckon?
Well, I think because I've now got Costa, I think I've sort of made my decision now. I think Costa is just looking so dangerous. He had 30 odd shots. I think three a game. Does he play? Three shots a game. Obviously, it's not as much as Ibrahimovic, but they're actually going in. I know it does make a difference. And he's out statting Lukaku as well. Lukaku, slightly better value. I think there's no reason to have Costa, Lukaku, and Aguero. I think I've had Wilson there, and he's a bit hit and miss. I mean, that's what you'd expect at a 6.4 million player, but I think I think I'm going to keep. I've gone for Costa anyway. This gives me more choice in midfield.
It just depends for me. I just worry that they're going to get a few pens over Christmas, and I think I'm definitely going to do it. I don't know if I want to do it yet. The thing is, Sanchez up front, it's so difficult to get rid of it.
I was gonna say those like Granville who've got Payet in their team. Have you still got Payet in your team, Granville? Yeah. Now talking about fixture shifts.
Yeah.
So now West Ham. Let's agree. West Ham are not as good at Chelsea at the moment, but they've got after Stoke, they've got Tottenham away, Manchester United away, Arsenal at home, then Liverpool away. Then it gets peachy from game week 16. So there is a case for saying ditching Payet after the Stoke game for Hazard. There's not a tremendous price difference there. That's quite an easy move. And then see how Hazard goes. Then game week 15, then see what the lay of the land is, and maybe get Payet.
Jonty giving Granville tips here.
I just think I just think with Payet, I saw it last season that he was actually fixture proof. It didn't matter who was playing against.
Well,
he was scoring, whereas Hazard, I know he scored a couple of goals away from home last week. Well, he got involved in the points last week. He's actually had a problem away from home. I mean, that's undeniable. It might be changing, and the penalties do make a difference. But I mean, I think because Payet takes all the free kicks and all the corners, I think he's worth keeping.
And the thing is with Hazard, where he's playing, he's harder to shut down. When he's out on the left, they can double team him. They can close him down, a bit like they're doing to Mahrez this year. When you stick him where he is now, all over the shop, playing behind the striker and even beyond him, you can't really double team him. I mean, that's the problem for me. That's why I'm really tempted.
I mean, I think that's what Hazard is now. He represents sacrifice. That's what it is. So I was just talking what Granville just revealed there. So if he wanted him in, he's got to make a sacrifice. If you or I, as Sanchez owners, want to get him in, you've got to make a sacrifice. That's what Hazard is now. He's a sacrifice. So, you know, and we've seen this season, there's so many good players. Not all of them score well each week. Some of them do, some of them don't. You get the wrong call, and then suddenly, as I found out through most of October, you get the wrong call, and boom.
Just big swings, big swings.
Yeah, huge. And I worry that I've done that. I'm holding Walcott and Sterling, and they're both on the way down. I don't know.
But Sterling was great tonight.
Yeah, he was, and I think he's all right for Middlesbrough. I'm worried about Walcott and Sanchez being too much for their forthcoming fixtures. Chelsea, though, game week 15 for Christmas. I think we're all going to pile on, aren't we? Whether we'll all get Hazard, we'll have to see. Probably that is going to be the case. Let's move on, Jonty, to the next question. We're going to talk about defenders, are we?
Yeah, we are. We're talking about defenders a lot, but they've really kind of... This was one of the banks of questions that we had so many on as well, because there's some fixture shifts here as well, and there's also some changes as well. Chelsea defenders are suddenly, you know, very, very good to get in. So FIFA King asks, is Alonso the best Chelsea defender based on attacking stats? Because Azpilicueta, as we've been seeing, has been getting bonus all the time, and he's in the 3 at the moment as well. So he's not getting the attacking output, but he's really racking up the tackles and all those kind of bonus. So Lione asking, keep or ditch Arsenal or Spurs defenders Well, they've got a fixture shift as well. Arsenal got Tottenham next, North London derby, then Manchester United away. So not hugely easy. And then and then Tottenham's got some tricky ones. Obviously Arsenal away. And then they got Chelsea away in a couple of game weeks.
Yeah,
so
but neither of those have got good fixtures coming up.
No, but then you were swapping, good defender in a good team with bad fixtures for a good defender in a good team with bad fixtures. So my instinct is to wait, but I do want Alonso. I keep going on about. I keep putting him in the scout pick squad each week, and he keeps delivering. What's
the views on Dave, on Spanish Dave then? Because he 6 out of 10 game weeks he's got bonus. Every time they get a clean sheet, he's got bonus.
Yeah. Well,
he's going to keep his place, presumably. I know Zumar's there.
Because will he move to wing back when they start getting more centre backs, or is that where he is now? Is it Moses is now that wing back?
Dave is not attacking enough to play wing back. There's no way he'll play wing back.
And in that case, then he's pretty sealed on. And Zuma, is going to come on. There's going to be over Christmas. There's going to be rotation in that Chelsea back line because they're going to have options as long as Terry and Zuma are fit. And
that's what you don't want though, because they've got West Brom, Sunderland, Palace, and Bournemouth.
Yeah, you don't want that. So arguably, you might actually be better off sticking with perhaps Walker, although Walker could get rotated as well. I mean, that's you're going to get rotation.
Alonso at left wing back looks assured. I would have said I can't see who would play there other than him. To be honest.
No, I think he's the best one.
Yeah,
I think he's got that attacking output as well. And I've done a table on attacking defenders. And he's right up there. So it's looking at chances created over the last 4 game weeks. So you've got Daley Blind, who we know is good in that role, created 10 chances. Then there's Alonso, who's level with Holebas. Daniels, he's one I've got in, and I think Bournemouth defenders are quite good if you can rotate them as well. I mean, this is interesting actually. Looking at defenders, if people are looking at options. Going into this game week, in the top 10, there were 3 Bournemouth defenders. So the top 10 scoring,
they're absolutely flying. And
around about a third of them were from Bournemouth.
Yeah, I mean, they kept, I think, 3 clean sheets in 5. I mean, they come a cropper at Borough. I still think there's value at the moment. I mean, we've got value out of Holebas. I look at the top-notch, top-bracket defenders at Spurs and Arsenal. Don't fancy it at the moment. Don't fancy United. For me, there's still value there. And we're talking about Leicester, who've got good fixtures coming up. Andy, you looked at Liverpool defence as well. Do you trust them, Low? I just don't see it at the moment.
I've had Lovren for the last 3 or 4 weeks, actually. He's got me 1 clean sheet and then the goal this weekend. So he's averaging just over 4 points for me. So I'm quite happy with that. He's only 4.9. I think their defensive stats are pretty good. Whether you'd put money on keeping a clean sheet, I don't think so. But I just think with the fixtures, it's kind of worth the risk at 4.9, especially when there's so few defenders up until this point that just haven't been doing the business. So
and for me, they've got Watford, Sunderland, and West Ham at home the next 3. Watford and Sunderland, they can keep clean sheets against him just by keeping the ball, can't they? I mean, the only thing with Liverpool is they tend to get tired and concede sloppy goals, and they're weak in the air, so they might get caught out there.
They are really weak at the set pieces as well.
Yeah.
I don't trust them. I don't trust them for a clean sheet.
Like I said, I wouldn't put money on it, but I think he's gone up to 5 now. But when I got him, he was 4.9. I just think for the fixtures, you're betting on that. Really, like you say, the home games are so good. There's potential for clean sheets, and he showed he can score a goal when he's moving.
I wanted to get him, and I've missed the price rise now. Now I'm looking elsewhere. Let's talk Leicester. Granville, do you fancy Fuchs? I know that he loves him, but got to be an option, doesn't he, with these fixtures?
Well, and it gets so far forward as well. I think Leicester maybe, now that they've got sort of Champions League almost out the way, I think they're going to qualify. They only need a point, I think, is it tomorrow?
Copenhagen, yeah.
And I think Ranieri did say it says now we have to concentrate on the league, and it certainly made a difference at the weekend. The last 2 weeks, actually, I think they've turned the corner. And
West Brom, Watford, Borough, Sunderland, the next 4 very strong. I'm seriously looking at Fuchs because he does give me. When you're signing a defender, I like to sign a defender like Jonty does, who offers me a bit going forward. And there's always that chance you'll get an assist or a goal. I mean, he got his first goal only a couple of weeks ago for Leicester. Surprising.
It makes such a difference. It makes such a difference, doesn't it? I mean, the scoring get a clean sheet is the guaranteed almost to get the.
Oh yeah.
Get like Holland the other week. 15 points. It's classic, really. And Leicester's has such good fixtures. Yeah, I've been looking at them as well. Fuchs in particular.
Yeah, Fuchs is top of the watch list, Jonty. You must agree with that, surely. You love
Yeah,
it,
totally.
don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I will come to our transfers that we're planning later. But yeah, I've got Valencia with a broken arm, and I believe he might go down in price tonight. But it doesn't bother me because I got him. He'll just go back to the price that I got him for.
Yeah,
so
same here, because
I don't lose any money. But plus, the good thing about Fuchs, price-wise, he was actually heading. He was heading for a fall before because people were looking at his waveform. But Leicester had some really. I was looking at it because all of his points have come at home. He's been sensational. In fact, he is guaranteed points at home, and then away nothing. But then looking back, they were really tough fixtures. Apart from the whole game, the first game, the away fixtures have all been really tough. And the away fixtures coming up, Watford, Sunderland, they're really good.
Yeah, and the thing is, we know Ranieri last year switched the team subtly to start keeping clean sheets and winning games, and he can do it. He can do that.
Yeah, I mean, he looks great to me. He's also down. I believe he's 5.4, so he started at 5.5. So he is cheap now because he is
cheap. But
he's a 5.5 defender on current home form. If you can translate that into away form, definitely. Obviously, hopefully, people don't keep buying him before I get him in after Wednesday. So
okay, let's
hold off.
Let's talk the 5-man midfield. Let's talk Joe Allen, Gundogan, and anybody else we want to throw in the mix. There's a few. James McArthur, I guess we could talk about. Questions on this, Jonty?
Yeah, Perlo's pen ask is 3-5-2 with Allen or 3-4-3 with Wilson or Austin the way to go. And this is quite a useful thing. So I've had a few kind of people on Twitter and on Fantasy Football Scout site say to me, I've had 3-5-2, it's done me really well. One person actually came up with a 4-5-1. They just had Aguero and a couple of non-entities in strike, and then just had an amazing midfield. I mean, it's looking. We have Joe Allen is offering really good value, and Gundogan is absolutely fantastic at the moment. He scored another 2 tonight. He's in that kind of Yaya Toure role, bomb forwards, get on the end of things, meet up with Aguero.
Well, I mean, I've looked at the formations, and at the start of the season, 70% of teams were going 3-4-3. It's now down to 50%.
Yeah,
and people have moved to 2 up front. 3-5-2 is around 25%. So there's definitely been a shift to get a cheap third striker and get 5 in midfield presumably because we saw a Kapui. Now we're seeing Allen. Now we're seeing Gundogan as well. It's definitely a trend. I don't know. I looked at it and I was wavering. I was going to get Keane up front. Will Keane up front for 4-5, and I was going to get Coutinho in. And then Hazard's come along and made me think about that as well. It's very, very tempting because of the way forwards have been failing us and way that midfielders look so strong. Granville, your thoughts on this? Have you been toying with the idea?
Yeah, and I'm toying the idea. Gundogan. The only thing that worries me is his place. I mean, I know he must be nailed on now with all these goals that he's come up with. I was worried when De Bruyne come back whether he wasn't going to start again, but he looks like he is starting. He's good enough. 3-5-2. Yeah. See, I'm sitting on Kapui and Balassi. Balassi has been returning. Kapui hasn't returned in probably the last 5. He's a bit of a worry now. And Joe Allen looks like the one. I did dismiss him initially, but I've watched a couple of the games over the last couple of weeks, and he's getting really far forward. He plays in such an advanced position. I don't think you can ignore him any longer.
No, we watched the game the other night, and he's getting into the box a lot, and his stats showing up that he's very, very effective at the moment. I just worry about Stoke as a unit scoring goals. No doubt City will, and Gundogan will benefit from goals and assists. Allen, I don't know.
But you can't have it all.
We've got 3 in the last 3 games as well. That's the thing to remember.
Yeah. You can't have it all. I mean, it's the same with West Ham as well. I mean, they've got Payet, but they're not the most scoring-ish team at the minute, are they? They struggle because they haven't really got a striker as such. The other mistake I think I probably made is Lallana, because he hasn't. As soon as I got him in, he's shut down his output. Because a lot of people, we were talking a couple of weeks ago about having 2 Liverpool midfielders. What's happened now? We're not talking about it.
I have 2.
No, I think Coutinho and Firmino is something I'd like, But Hazard's put a spanner in the works a bit, and then obviously Gundogan's come along and gone, oh, hello, you want to look at me at 5'5". So the midfield picture changes every week, doesn't it?
I've still got to say, though, out of all the midfielders who I haven't got, the one that I covet the most is De Bruyne. I just think he's just so superb, and I saw him tonight, and he just looks the best player on the pitch, even against Barcelona.
I don't argue with that, but I look at his price, and I don't know. Sanchez, for me, justifies that he's playing up front. De Bruyne, I don't know.
He is essentially playing up front, though. You know, and plus he's taking all set pieces. I guarantee you that he'll at least match Sanchez scoring. And the thing is with Sanchez is that he goes games when he gets 2 or 3 games when he doesn't get anything.
Yeah, I know. And 5 of his 6 goals have come away from him. But the thing is with City, with De Bruyne, I've got Aguero. I'm never going to get rid of Aguero by the looks of it. And I can get Sterling, who I got early. So I don't want too much cover. So whereas Arsenal don't have a striker, do they? So,
well, you say that, but I think Giroud's on his way back. You know, I mean, I'm not sure whether he's going to be starting yet, but at some point he's going to get a run. I think
let's talk about this now. I know Andy wants to bring this up, so Andy, do you want to pipe in at this point?
Well, yeah, I think me and Jonty got rid of Walcott, and one of the reasons I did it was it felt like he got injured. We know he doesn't have a great injury record anyway, so I was worried he was going to be out longer. But Giroud and Ramsey are on the way back. Giroud's come back. He scored 3 in 2 games. Today he was up front. He started up front. Sanchez straight back to the right. Sanchez on the left. Ramsey on the right, where Walcott was playing. And I just think now, I don't know, Arsenal suddenly becomes a bit of a mystery. We don't know, are they just going to revert back to Sanchez up front? Walcott get his place back? The fixtures are tougher now. Is he going to want that big man up front?
But he came out and said after the game that the only way he more or less said the only way Giroud is going to play if we play 4-4-2. He'd said that. Literally said Sanchez is playing up front and Giroud is an option in the 4-4-2 because Ozil can play wide. So he's basically said there that Ozil will play left, Giroud will play up front. I still think Walcott's got the right-hand side now, Dan. I think it's a toss-up, Ramsey in the pivot. I don't see Ramsey doesn't want to play on the right-hand side. No. And Walcott is just too much of a goal threat to leave out the team when he's fit, I think. Whether he's fit, that's the other issue. Like, he does break down. But that's the same with Gundogan, who's got a terrible injury record. So, it's a consideration with a few players. But for me, I need a bit more time. I worry about it, having Sanchez and Walcott now, but I don't worry about Giroud. I think he can play in Europe, but I don't see him figuring in the league. I think it'll be straight back to plan A, Sanchez, Walcott against Spurs. But we'll see. He'll be the player he turns to when defence is dropped deep and they need something different. But he's not going to start matches yet, I don't think. Granville?
I'm just. Do you believe then the Sanchez is going to be playing up front for the whole season?
Yeah.
Do you think that's what he's going to go for? Really?
He's more or less said it.
He has said something along those lines. That he is now a striker, and that's how he sees him. Yeah.
He's literally said that post match. We'll dig out the quotes. It'll be in Say What this week. He said Giroud will play in a 4-4-2. So if Giroud's going to play in a 4-4-2, who's the other striker? It's got to be Sanchez. He said it. I was surprised because I thought that he would return to the wing, but not judging on what Wenger said. Jonty, your views on this?
Well, yeah, I mean, I got rid of Walcott. One of the things was a simple thing of fixtures, really. I always think with a transfer, the player you get in, you want to score more than the player you got out. And I think Coutinho is on such form at the moment. He's got the fixtures, the form. Whereas Walcott was injured, so, is he going to come back? We don't know. Of course, we know it's just meant to be a minor injury. But I think
Wenger's done this before.
I think currently, with all of the midfielders that we've been discussing, I think at the moment, because the fixtures aren't great for the next 2 or 3, having Walcott and Sanchez is a little too much Arsenal for my liking at the moment. And so, I would be looking elsewhere. I think there will, and I think it's less like who's going to start. It's more like who's going to be coming off at 60, 70 minutes. There's options now. So maybe Giroud won't start, but then he'll come on, and then Walcott will come off. Maybe Ramsey won't start, but he'll come on. Walcott will come off. He's not going to be taking Sanchez off. I know.
I just look ahead, and they've got Bournemouth and Stoke home games, West Brom at home. They're the next 3 after the Spurs game: Bournemouth, Stoke, West Brom. But Sanchez is doing better away from home. It's tricky. I may have to change it, but right now little bit scared to do so. What do we think on Gundogan then? Yay or nay? I mean, he's not going to get in my team yet, but we've got to take him seriously, haven't we, Jonty?
I think he's a perfect player because he's a great price and he's playing for a great team and he's currently on form. And Man City have got great fixtures. He's got everything and he's got the underlying stats as well. So he's got the lot. So
do you I mean, he's gonna. It's difficult to pin down those positions in that City midfield. That's the problem because we can say he's going to drop deeper, but is that such a thing in the City team, Granville?
No, I mean I don't know. I just don't know whether he's nailed on just yet. I still don't.
Well, so now there was an article. It was in the Metro, so. But apparently Pepper said it's going to be impossible to win this year without him.
Yeah, but he means in the squad, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be in the team for virtually every game. That's how I read it.
Can I just go back to what Jonty was saying about Sanchez not getting taken off? Because I just had a look, and actually Sanchez has been taken off twice and played half a game once, and Walcott has just been taken off twice. So
Sanchez don't like it though, does he?
No, I can't see that continuing. Though. So a lot of those because of international commitments, though, and obviously, and he had a far tougher summer as well. So he's had, because of the international commitments. I think as Sanchez goes on, he's on the whole a fitter player.
I do agree. The whole picture at Arsenal is now cloudy, and I just don't want to be hasty and get rid of one of those two because they've got me where I am now. You know, I've got a decent rank now because I got Sanchez and Walcott in my wild card, and they've taken it in turns more or less to get me the point. So. And I've got price rises out of the both, although Walcott's going down. It's very difficult. I've fallen into a trap now where I've invested, they've done well, and now I'm hesitant getting rid, and that's why I think I've probably made an error already, but we'll have to see. Joe Allen, just quickly, Granville, thoughts on him? Still not tempted?
Yeah. Well, no, I said to you before, I'm tempted to swap Capuy for him and play 5 in the middle and kind of rotate Callum Wilson with Allen and Balassi, depending on fixtures.
Okay.
So it's still an option that I'm exploring.
See, for me, if you get Allen, you've got to play him. I don't think he's a fifth mid. You see, you've either got to change the formation or you play him every week. Jonty, your views on Joe Allen?
Well, no, if I got Joe Allen, it'd be as a fourth midfielder because I've been down that route before, trying to rotate strikers, and I always get it wrong every week. It's horrible.
Does that mean Capuy is going to be sitting on your bench every week?
Capuy will be on my bench every week. I got him for 4.5, and that's what you want. If I got him for 5, then I'd be hesitant. But Capuy is the guy that comes on for 2 to 3 points. When come off the sub bench. I did a little a comparison between because we're talking about 3-5-2 against 3-4-3, and so it's basically looking at who is the best kind of budget forward, which we're about to come on to. Yeah. And I think it's Austin, but we'll come to that. And then against the best kind of midfielder for that price is Allen. So comparing them, the last 4 matches, goal attempts, Allen 9, Austin 16. So you can see what you're getting there. Shots on target, Allen 7, Austin 6. Okay, so that certainly looks a bit better. Chances created, Allen 6, Austin 9.
But
so you're looking at points.
To the fact they've played the bottom 3 in the last 3 games, and not only that, they played the bottom 3 are all really bad at the moment.
Yeah, that's what we don't know. So that's the unknown at the moment. So how is he going to, it's the reverse of the can they do it on a cold night, cold Tuesday night at Stoke? But it's like, can the guy from Stoke do it on a Saturday afternoon against the likes of Chelsea?
Slightly tepid Stoke. I don't know. Yeah. One name that hasn't been mentioned. I know one name that Andy's got. Chadley. Fixtures are great, and Andy's got him in his team. Future-proof that. You want to throw him into the mix as the fourth mid, surely?
Yeah, definitely. I think I made a mistake getting in this early because I've earmarked Fuchs as my transfer. So if I'm getting him in, I obviously don't want Chadley to do well. But yeah, fixtures coming up. He's got Hull, so that's always a big pull right now, and he's on penalties as well, which because I was considering. Yeah. I mean, Allen, I'm so stubborn. I'm just not going to get him. So I was considering Shaqiri or Chadley. And then someone reminded me that he's on penalties. I was like, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. And I had him not last year, the year before, I think, when he was at Spurs, and was only in the team for like 10 games, something like in a row, and he did really well. So I quite like him, actually.
Yeah, I look at it and think Burnley, Hull, Watford, Swansea. They got Chelsea in that run, but that's an incredible run. And I'm piling on the back 4. I'm going back to Evans. To pair him with McCauley, probably. I may even go Chris Brunt because he's playing midfield and he's been
going back to West Brom. Are you?
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to go with 2 West Brom after this game week for absolutely certain because Burnley, Hull, Watford, Swansea at home, they're going to get 2 clean sheets at least out of that. And set pieces are so dangerous. So it's a cheap option, isn't it, to go back to Evans or to maybe to Brunt. So but I'm also considering Chadley because I think he could be a great differential because of the pens. But it's just West Brom's attack. It's poor. That's the only thing. So it's worrying. Let's talk cheap strikers because Rondon's in the mix for that as well. If Rondon had penalties, he'd definitely be in there. He's lost them to Chadley, so he's not a factor. But Jack the Cat brings up some strikers.
Who is the best third striker? So he's listed a few here for us to consider: Rondon, Wilson, Austin, Deeney, Defoe, or Bonney. He hasn't mentioned Benteke there. Benteke's gone right off the radar, and I'll tell you why. Because he's Ibrahimovic light at the moment. Ibrahimovic, big problem. Four big chances missed. Everyone missed. Guess who else has got that problem? Benteke. 3 big chances, 3 missed. But none of the other top strikers have got that problem. They've got big chances. They're not missing 100% of them.
The thing is, I don't remember a time. Everything's going in the air to Benteke. So those chances, I don't know how many are headed. Is that in the table?
It's a bit like Ibrahimovic. It's an act of God. I think I said to Granville in the email earlier. It's an insurer's nightmare. There is no rhyme or reason. How did Ibrahimovic not score against Burnley? How is Benteke getting all of these headers and not scoring? It just doesn't make any sense.
There's a common factor there because Benteke is up against Tom Heaton at the weekend. So.
Yeah, I've got Benteke. I mean, who do I think is going to win the battle of Benteke Heaton? Well, it's going to be Tom Heaton, isn't it?
Probably.
Well,
I think Burnley have got the players. Michael Keane versus Benteke. Keane can handle him. I think. He's one centre back.
So that's that. But then some of these other names. So I've mentioned Austin there. I think Austin is the best pick there because Southampton's fixtures. Okay, they've got Hull next, so Hull whipping boys. I think you're going to get an immediate return. Then you've got Liverpool and Everton at home. So then it gets tricky. Then you've got this wonderful run of Palace, Middlesbrough, Stoke, Bournemouth. That's Austin time. But Rondon as well. We spoke about West Brom as well. I think he actually against City. I mean, there was this spell when Lecco came on for West Brom. Yeah. Suddenly West Brom came alive for about 25 minutes, and Rondon was doing quite. I mean, maybe it's just watching the highlights, not the whole thing.
No, he's a good player.
Rondon was actually looking quite dangerous there. So I think one of Rondon or Chadley is a really good idea. I think when they're fixtures.
It's just how much ambition they're going to show against the teams. So they lift themselves to the big teams, but. The trouble is, got a view on this?
Even if they score, he's going to then keep it tight again, isn't it? I'm just looking. I mean, they just don't. I mean, West Brom just don't create. I mean, how many shots did they have? 100 shots in 10 games, 100 attempts. That's
And what was funny is when they played Liverpool and Liverpool were 2-0 up. They interviewed Klopp after the game and they said, "What? Did you want to get a third goal?" And he said, "No, it's very difficult because even when we went 2-0 up, West Brom didn't change their tactics or shape. They didn't come at us. So even when they go behind,
still containment.
Let's not go forward. Let's keep it as it is. It's
exactly. It's still containment. Even when whether they're behind or ahead, it doesn't matter. It's still keep it. All he talks about Pulis is shape. If you listen to any of his interviews after, it's always talking about shape. If they lose a goal, it's always about shape. This all, he just wants men to get behind the ball.
Fair, he went for it a bit against City. Like he made changes, but then he started with a 4-5-1. Like he dropped Matt Phillips.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
He started so defensively that he just went back to his normal formations. I don't know. I think Chadley's tempting. Rondon. No, I'm with you on this. I think Austin. Andy, you got a view on the cheap strikers?
Yeah, I've already got Austin in, so I have to echo what you said. I got him in, I can't remember who it was, but he scored 2 goals the other day, so I had him in for that. I think he's the one. I mean, Liverpool, yes, I've got Lovren, but I'm not expecting a clean sheet there, so I think he can score. I think Southampton, I wouldn't necessarily double with Redmond. I don't think there's enough goals in that team, but I think Austin's going to be the focal point, so he'd be the one for me. I quite like Boney, but like you said earlier, Shaqiri possibly out, and Arnautovic is definitely going to miss the next game. So the only thing about Southampton is obviously they got Buffon now, so I don't think he's started yet. But I mean that's looking possibly likely very soon. So I don't know
it's interesting when he came on the other day. They played Tadic, Redmond, and Buffon with Austin central, whereas when Buffon's not been playing, Austin's been actually wide and Redmond central. So it might actually be a good thing. Well, it will be if Austin's up front and Buffon's playing, because Buffon will create chances.
It just depends how greedy he is.
Austin's very greedy.
I know he is, but Buffon, I haven't seen enough of him to know. But he does look like a starter eventually.
See, I'm in a bad situation here again because I've got Defoe, and I look at it and go, well, if Sunderland score, it's going to be Defoe. They've got Hull in game week 12. I can't get rid of Defoe before that, can I? So,
Hull not turned a corner though. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch. I know the game against Watford was quite tight. Maybe they've changed.
Yeah, I mean, they looked a bit tired, but you still got to think that Sunderland have got a chance of scoring. So again, I'm trapped holding on to a player like Defoe because I'm scared to get rid.
I think he's done it well. I think you have to keep him.
There's another player we haven't mentioned in detail. I know Granville mentioned him a bit earlier, Wilson, and he's got Wilson against Sunderland. You know, you talk about whipping boys in Hull. Well, Sunderland they've turned a corner. They've walked straight round it and off a cliff. And Callum Wilson, he's almost captain material against Sunderland.
The thing is, he went off on the hour mark, didn't he, at Borough? That worries me.
Yeah, but that was away. They're very different. Bournemouth are very different away to they are at home. They're very good at home. I still think from their defence, there's potential points from away. We saw with Daniels and Smith, they were quite attacking away. And he's got so many of these kind of wingers and attacking midfielders that, you know, you can afford to take Wilson off of there. But I think at home against Sunderland, well, I mean, if he's taken off at 55 minutes because he hasn't scored against Sunderland by then you know it's time for Wilson to leave your team.
That's when I do get Lukaku in.
Have you still got Granville? Have you still got him?
I've got Wilson, yeah. But I mean, I am considering. Obviously, I'm going to play him against Sunderland this week. It's prime fixture. In fact, you need to get on your anyone who's playing Sunderland because I think Moyes is going to get sacked shortly, and then they'll change. They'll probably be a bit tighter. So make sure you get your strikers in against Sunderland the next couple of weeks before he goes. Anyway, I think. I don't know what happened with Stanislas. I think he picked up an injury, didn't he? Immediately.
Yeah, he got a calf injury, so he should be back at the weekend. So that makes a difference for them.
It does, yeah. And also, I think he took the last penalty, didn't he? Which was annoying.
Yeah, but Wilson said that they're mine. I just let him have it out of the goodness of his heart. Okay, let's round off with Heaton before the weekend preview. What's to discuss on Heaton, Jonty?
Well, nothing really. Just give him a mention, really. I mean, he's just so good, so we have to mention him. RBPFC, Ruffio, and Hackcheck all ask, is he worth getting? Is he worth a hit? They're saying. Can he keep the likes of Ibrahimovic at bay forever? Well, let's have a look. He's putting in a save every 16.7 minutes.
Yeah, he's averaging 5.8
points saves. And so he's kept clean, and he's got 3 clean sheets as well. So he's getting the clean sheets and the saves and the bonus. He's just by miles the best goalie.
In terms of points per million, he's top as well. He's now ahead of Kapui. Yeah. He's basically, I would say, the only essential player out there at the moment because he's so cheap. And
I've got Heaton and Foster, and I'm looking. I thought, Foster, he's got some good fixtures coming, but you can't drop Heaton because the worst, the better the fixture, the better the chance of a clean sheet. The worst fixture, well, he can rack up 10, 11 saves.
The thing is, as well, he's going up in price, and he's already 4.7. And if I didn't have him, I'd look at that and go, 4.7, that's a bit much for a keeper. So you've got to get him quick because as soon as he got like a 4.8, 4.9, I think he could by the end of the season be at 5 million, which for a keeper is just ridiculous because keepers very rarely get transfer traffic. But Heaton, when you start, he's got 2 double-figure scores. He's got 7 bonus points already, which ranks him like 3rd or 4th for forwards. I mean, the most bonus points is about 9 or 10 amongst strikers. So it's crazy what he's doing.
Yeah, we weren't really talking about it at the beginning of the season, were we? We were talking about Foster. Yeah. It was all about Foster. Did anyone have him? Did everyone just get him in the wild card?
I had Heaton from the off. I had Heaton from the off, and there were lots of people on site talking about him. And one of the things was these saves because we were looking at the last time Burnley were in. And he was absolute monster with the save points. Yeah. And then it was looking at it and comparing him. So I compared him to, I think at the time, to QPR's, because the top save one was the QPR goalie at the time.
McCarthy.
But he wasn't really saves. What it was is it wasn't actual saves. He was parrying, punching out. But Heaton was catching. So this was it. So Heaton's big thing was he was actually catching these balls, stopping them. Whereas the other kind of weaker goalies in the weaker teams were getting all of the shots at them. They were parrying them out, perhaps into the head.
He's had 72 shots fired at him as well, by far the most in the league. And so the Burnley defence is allowing shots from range. I guess that when you've got a keeper of that pedigree, we'll just sit back on the edge of the area. If they shoot from range, he ain't going to let it in. So he's going to get Every game he's going to get shots. It'll happen again against Palace. We'll get Kabaya, we'll get Zaha, we'll get punch and shooting from range, and it probably won't trouble him, and he'll get another 6, 7, 8 saves, and it'll be another 2 or 3 points. I don't see it stopping at the moment. So it for me, I've had Pickford and Heaton from more or less the start. I've had Heaton from the start. Pickford came in for me. I think that's the best combination. But I don't know when I'm going to play Pickford now, like you say. So, Andy, any views on Heaton other than the fact you can't stand him now?
No, I've had him from the start as well. Like, I made a mistake. I'll learn from it. I won't be so stubborn to not play him. And Pickford will probably just be benched from here on out. I think I'm just going to, like you say, the better the team, the more saves. So I'm just going to play Heaton every week. I think not really much more to say than he's great.
Yeah. Okay, weekend preview. Let's get this done. Clean sheets first of all. I think there's a lot. Of clean sheets.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Which is good because I'm shopping for defenders. So, Andy, we'll let you go first.
Man City against Bournemouth. Middlesbrough even.
Yeah, I know. I'm seriously considering Stones because the fixtures aren't bad. Palace and Burnley after that. I still think, they kept the first one away at West Brom, didn't they? Stones' first clean sheet. I'm seriously considering Stones as an option. I've got 2 transfers, so I can do it. But yeah, I own the Middlesbrough. I can't see Middlesbrough. Traore worries me on the break because he nearly breached the Arsenal defence and he could do it to City. It's just City tend to relax, don't they? And
we've got so much attack. They don't really need to worry about those. But yeah, I think they get a clean sheet there.
They know they're going to get goals. I think Middlesbrough scored to it in that game.
From where? Ramirez is suspended. Negredo can't do
Doesn't
it.
matter. Anyone can score. Stuardi will come on and score. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. Could okay. Granville, yours?
I'm going to go a bit safer and go Bournemouth at home to Sunderland. I don't see anything Sunderland.
You don't see they got a threat?
I'm not going to go for anything completely obvious like Liverpool, but no, I don't see them a threat at all. Bournemouth, I think Bournemouth are good at home.
Okay, and Jonty, I know where you're going, but go on.
Well, Leicester, is that the one you thought? Yeah, Leicester against absolutely. West Brom. Yeah, I mean, it's Leicester are really, really good at home.
Yeah, I see it, and I probably will go Fuchs. But it's going to go to the wire. I will go Burnley. Palace, very, very strong at home. Palace, they've got a goal threat, but Heaton's flying. I think Burnley can cope with Benteke because I'm going to say now my fancy on this is going to be Michael Keane, who I think will keep a clean sheet, and he's got a goal threat. And Palace conceding from set pieces. We saw against Liverpool, so I'm going to go Michael Keane. He's another one who I'm looking at bringing in this week. He's 4.9 and an option for 1 week, I think. So. Yeah, Burnley clean sheet. Michael Keane, my fancy island risk. Let's go to Andy for his fancy island risk.
Yeah, I think West Ham need a bit more. They got Payet doing well, but I think Andre Ayew's now back. He'll be straight in.
Do you think he'll start?
No, I think he's got a chance. He's got a chance to start. I don't think West Ham are doing that well at the moment. I know they've got a few wins under their belt now, but I still think they need a bit more in attack. So I think he could start.
Yeah, Antonio's not the answer. Zaza clearly. Not the answer either. So Ayew can get goals. He plays centre forward for Swansea now and again. Yeah. Good option. Granville, your fancy on a risk?
I think he's. I think Andre Gray. I think he's coming back, isn't he?
Yeah, he'll start. He started at Old Trafford.
Well, there you go. There's my fancy island risk. I think. I think he's. I think he showed in his first few games that he did play that he's got the makings of a goal scorer in this league.
Yes, and Palace haven't kept a clean sheet, so if he's going to. He's only got 1 in 5 in his first 5 starts, Gray, but he's got a point to prove, and I do think Burnley could get a goal there. If the four's back as well makes a difference. That's why I've gone Keane. Defoe looks
if he's back.
Yeah, it looks like he could. Jonty, your fancy island risk?
Well, I'm going to go for real risky, Jack Wilshere, because Sunderland are so bad, Bournemouth are good at home, and Jack Wilshere, he's on my assist imminent table here. So, he's creating the chances. He's getting the corners, getting a few crosses, but nothing at the moment. But wait a minute, Sunderland's racking up. So, I think he's the very definition of a risk, I think. So,
he certainly is. He's never going to be an option in fancy, but for 1 week, could fancy him in FanDuel. I think he could be a good option.
Yeah,
he
very
will,
good option.
Stats-wise, I think he'll do well.
Yeah.
But Sunderland, maybe they're the new whipping boys now. Maybe we think Hull are going to be tighter. But I do think Southampton at Hull is another one for a clean sheet. I've got Martino, who looks like he's going to play. Bit of a fast for the goal, for Costa's goal. Don't know what he was doing. He's kind of backpedaling and sticking his leg out. I won't just do it once. I'll try again. I'll do it a third time. Oh, goal. That had nothing to do with me. I couldn't have stopped that. That was crazy. But he's going to hold on to his place. I don't think Cedric's back. So Martina, when I got him, I thought, let's see if I can stretch it out to 4 game weeks. Looks like I'm going to, and get that whole game. So I'm hoping Hull don't have a goal for it and I get a clean sheet from that. Van Dijk, great option as well in that game, I think. Okay, let's talk transfers and captains. I guess captain's a no-brainer now, Andy. You're leaving Zlatan well alone and going to go straight to a certain City striker, I guess.
Yeah, Aguero captain. He was going to be my captain before the game even happened last week. So yeah, Middlesbrough at home. That's a no-brainer for me. In terms of moves, so I think I'm going to keep Ibra one more week.
No.
Hang on, hear me out. Right. So who are my options? Hang on. So Lukaku, obviously, but he's got Chelsea away who've just kept 4 clean sheets in a row, right? So yes, he may score, but it's going to be tough. Costa, good fixture, Everton at home, and then Middlesbrough away. But he's only 1 yellow card away from a suspension. So if he gets it against Everton and he misses Middlesbrough, then it's Spurs and City away.
Yeah,
so
I see your logic. Yeah.
If Ibra's going to score, I can just this is his week, and then I'll get rid of him. I'll tell you what I've got my eye on: Harry Kane. So he's potentially back this weekend. Arsenal, obviously not a great fixture, but hopefully he'll play.
Then it's 4 and 6 at home. Have you seen who the 4 and 6?
Yeah, that's exactly. So I'll just pull it up here really quick. So then it's international breaks. So he's got a bit of time to recover there, and then it's West Ham at home, Chelsea away, not great. Swansea at home, Man United away, and then Hull and Burnley at home. So obviously, you'd rather have the Hull and Burnley ones at the start, but decent fixtures. I know I'm being stubborn at this point, but I just think for this particular week, I just don't want to bring in Costa and Lukaku, and maybe it'll be different next week. But Harry Kane's the one I got my eye on.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Okay, Jonty, I imagine you're doing what, 16-point hit?
Yes, another 16-point hit, obviously. No, I think I might take a hit, but no more than that. I think yes. No, I've got an injured Valencia, and Fuchs is just the most logical one to get in. He's got everything on his side, I think, and he's absolutely looking great for the next 4 fixtures. I think that's a good move. I've got Benteke. I'm not happy with against Heaton. So if I took a hit, I'd possibly get Austin. But I've already got Redmond, so I got Redmond in to give me a bit of, could I double up or could I avoid Austin because I've got Redmond? So I may just leave that and then hope Austin doesn't get too much.
Okay, all right, and Captain Aguero.
Oh yeah, Captain Aguero definitely.
Okay, Granville, over to you. Transfer and captain.
We don't learn, do we? We always do this. I think every year Aguero gets a haul, and none of us are on him because we kind of sort of half doubt him. Do you know what I mean? I think we do this every year. And
so
now
do you not think he'll do it against Barlow?
No, I do. And now we captain him like everybody else. But the fact that we didn't captain him this week when he was, when he scored a hat trick is a bit
2 goals and an assist, yeah. But it was a tough fixture. I just didn't see City getting 4 goals at West Brom. But
I didn't think it was.
They got 2 goals in 3 before that. And
I thought if there's a game when they're going to make a comeback, it'd be that one. I did consider it, but I just thought I had to captain Ibrahimovic. So I'm going to be captaining him. And my transfer's already Costa. I do have a second transfer, which I could see. All my defenders are away from home with not great fixtures neither. So I might. I'm looking at Fuchs as well for Williams.
Okay, so I'm probably going to go Fuchs in for Valencia. I'm probably going to talk myself into that. I'm looking at things that are far more clever that are probably not going to work, and maybe I should just stick with the plan. I'm probably just going to use one transfer and bank it because next week I'm probably going to get rid of Sanchez and get hazarded and spend the money because of the fixture swing. And you spoke about it. Look at Spurs. Look at their home fixtures. I'm probably going to want the Spurs defender for those 4 home games. So the only way I'm going to be able to afford it is to get rid of Sanchez and go Coutinho or Hazard. So I'm just going to spend the one transfer. It's going to be Fuchs in, I think. And the captain, Aguero. It's very tedious, but what can we do? He's back. And everything. And the thing is, I've noticed everything is traffic on the site goes up when Aguero's just scored. I think Aguero has become the poster boy for FFS, which isn't a bad one to have. Used to be Van Persie. It's definitely Aguero now. We had a slump for 2 or 3 weeks. The mood, I talked about it, didn't I? The mood was down, and I think it was because Aguero was not producing. As soon as Aguero sparks again, there's a bit of optimism on the site. Traffic's up, everyone's smiling, we're all captaining him, everything's fine.
Talking of Van Persie, his record was broken this week by Ibrahimovic. The most amount of shots without scoring a goal in a game.
Yeah, there you go.
You know that?
A fitting successor to that. But it's true, isn't it, Jonty? Everything seems to be lifted now. Oh, Aguero's back.
It is. And you know, I personally had a very bad 3 weeks prior to Aguero getting that. But it wasn't just Aguero. It was lots of big heavy hitters weren't really performing. Sanchez wasn't really performing. The average score was really down. But you look at the average score, game week 10, it was huge. And people were, were doing well out of it. We spoke about my captain is Alan. You know, even Joe Allen is getting a good captaincy haul for people in game week 10. So that does I noticed it on Monday morning. Everyone's back, going, hey, look at my wonderful score.
It was a big game week for FFS. We didn't get it in game week 8, we got it in 10. Aguero is back. But I still feel like, this isn't the season we can rest on our laurels. Previously, we'd be going, everything's marvellous. It's all fine now. We're captain Aguero for a week. Simple. It's not. It's not simple. I already think by sitting on my hands and leaving Walcott and Sterling, I've made a mistake. I'm probably missing price rises right now, which I should be getting. It's a very strange season, and it's like, I want to show faith in players, but if you do that for too long, you get hurt. Don't show faith in Ibrahimovic, and he's going to do it one more week. We'll see how that goes. We'll be back next week. It's international break. We may do one next week, though. We'll confirm on that and come back to you. It'll certainly be the week after, if not, episode 204. Thanks for listening tonight. It's a good night from me.
Good night.
Good night from me.
Good night.
Good evening all. Good night.